Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel. Wishing you a happy healthy start to this nice Monday. It's a new week and we actually got a lot of new opportunities as Bitcoin trades out of this godforsaken range that we've been living in the last week. Actually, a little bit more than that, I do suspect. But that was one of the most uneventful weeks that I think that we've seen in a long time in Bitcoin. And that's kind of saying a lot. The last couple of months have been more or less not that interesting. Anyways, with that in mind, I wanted to follow up on last Friday's announcement because there was a major signal brewing that I do suspect we're going to get resolution on maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Something like that does start to make sense. And it's really going to govern the biases for the next, I would suspect, about 10 days to come after validation of that. So without further ado, let's just jump into it right now. Actually, before I do forget, I do want to mention that Bybit is offering 50% off of trading fees for options if you do use the link in the description below. I've been creating a very intro, beginner-friendly sort of options playlist that'll be releasing videos upon each and every passing day from, I guess, now. Anyways, let's start it off right over here. So this was the big chart that we spoke about, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, maybe even both days. And it was this, a volatility versus stochastic momentum signal. Volatility is going to be measured by this moving oscillator right here, or it's not an oscillator, but this moving portion right here, which is essentially an HVP of stochastic momentum. You can read that as volatility of stochastic momentum. And basically, anytime that we do see it get down to extreme lows, which you can observe right here where my cursor currently is right now, the expansion phase from those extreme lows coupled with the direction of the stochastic momentum oscillator itself has amounted to an average move of about, if I can pull it out here, that would be good, 28.85% done over the course of just over 10 days. And the stochastic direction has gotten the correct direction of that volatility expansion for just under 89% of the time. So very, 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 very high hit rate over the past year, especially. So with that in mind, I wanted to highlight a few things here. Basically, the average days is rather low, I would say. So if this does get a signal, well, which it will, it will very likely. The question is how soon. That move is going to happen rather quickly. We have seen on the lower end these sort of moves happen over the course of just 2 days. I would say that that's a little bit on the lower end. More like 5 days to 9 days is a little bit more reasonable, I do think. And on the upper end, the highest one that we've seen is 15 days. So again, this likely does amount for a pretty bang move. Anyways, I do want to just call it this last signal over here just to give you an example of what it typically looks like. But basically, here's your low. It expands on the next bar. Okay, there we go. The direction of the stochastic momentum oscillator is to the downside, and price action melts down 38.37%. This was your June 10th breakdown right there. So it told you a day before, which is actually rather powerful. Anyways, the reason why I'm calling it out is because we are obviously at extreme lows as of right now. Just because we're at extreme lows doesn't mean that it's going to pop up exactly today. We could get something similar to last time, actually. I mean, this one took 2 days. Yeah, 2 days before it expanded off the lows. This one over here 2 days actually as well. This one over here 1 day, for example. So it does typically happen relatively fast, but in this case I want to see it get a positive slope. Once it gets a positive slope, that's when I look at it as the signal is activated, and then we look to this stochastic momentum oscillator's direction for that volatility expansion. So as of right now, it is postured to the downside, which would imply that if we're going off the historical statistics for this, more likely to have a meltdown move. Here's the thing though, until this again points up, that is, well, not validated. And we can look at the stochastic momentum pivot, which guess where it is? It's actually below where price action currently is right now, which is 23,760. This again is on CME, not spot price action. So if it were to close today and we saw that HVP turn up, that would actually be an upside signal, to be fair. So if we play around with numbers here, taking basically today, or I guess today would be kind of the start of this one, 28.85% move. Well, where would that put Bitcoin? That would actually put Bitcoin, if we literally did exactly the average move, which obviously there's going to be variance within this, you could see that would actually put Bitcoin basically at the gap fill that we did see from the June breakdown, which is interesting, certainly. Done over the course of 10 days, that'd put us basically into end of this week, next week, something like that. Let me just double check my calendar over here. I guess, the 8th to the 18th. So obviously 10 days, a little bit easier to do that. So How does that kind of play into the other signals that we have been looking at? Well, I wanted to bring back this signal over here. This is the 2-day time frame on spot price action, actually. And this one is still, it has not been invalidated just yet, or it's not that it gets invalidated, it's just like the signal is settled. This signal is still saying that there is potential upside as long as the stochastic momentum oscillator is pointed towards the upside direction, which it will be maintaining that posture as long as Bitcoin's above 23,850. Which Bitcoin is above or basically at right now. So it's a long day left to go, 16 hours, 31 minutes, and 44 seconds, of course. But if that does continue, well, the average move from the actual signal given, which was way back on over here in July, actually, of about 37.5% would put, you know, Bitcoin theoretically at about 26,500 bucks. So I would go as far to say that if we do start to see these validations happen, you know, as soon as tonight, then I would be looking for, you know, Bitcoin to settle somewhere between about 26.5 to maybe even as much as 29. I think that's a little bit more on the crazy end right there, but fair enough. I just got hit on a trade, so I should probably manage that really quickly. There we go. Okay, thank you very much. All right, beautiful. And back to it over here. All right, sweet. So we covered that. But here's the thing. For the 2-day signal, once it actually does start to turn down, that is a really, really good indication that we are going to see, you know, a greater pullback in this market. Until then, actually, Boolaws do have the balls in their court simply because they are above those pivots at this exact moment. So that means that the probabilities of those playing out is higher than the downside. But it's a long day left to go. Again, you know, 16 hours, 30 minutes is like a fucking eternity in cryptocurrency land. And of course, you know, we've seen more than like a $1,000 move within that time frame before. Anyways, now going into the lower term time frames, obviously this is a resolution, or seemingly a resolution almost there, of the short term time frame range. The pivot to the upside was 23,500. Bitcoin's gonna have a chance to close, or did it already close a 4 hour? No, it did not close a 4 hour, but it will have a chance to close above there. And then yes, I would be looking for that next move up back to the same highs that we did see. I think this was late July, basically between about just above 24 to maybe as much as 24,500 short term. We do see hidden bullish evidence on the 4 hour time frame. Even more important, we see extremely low BBWP levels. I do think that this quite literally is the expansion. And again, you have to be thinking about the domino of effects here. If the lower term time frames are kind of in alignment with the higher term time frames, as in they're all low, as we observed in the beginning portion of this video, they're probably all going to move together. It's probably all going to be like a pretty fucking big move, just to put it bluntly. If we go to the 6 hour, also incredibly low, starting to expand off those lows as well. The 12 hour, same thing, working its way down. And the 12-hour RSI is actually working its way up towards that bullish control zone. So Boolaws do have the balls in their court as of right now. And if we do go over to our stochastic momentum on the short-term timeframes, my voice cracking right there, we will notice that the 6 hour time frame is pivoted where? 23,100, which is well below this current resolution point. So this probably does have more to go. The 4 hour is pivoted at 23,250, which obviously we're above by a good almost $600 right now. And if we go down to the hourly, then it is also upside postured as long as Bitcoin's above 23,500. So, you know, there's going to be some ebbs and flow here, but ultimately it does look like Bitcoin probably wants to make one more leg up. And the question is, how high do we get? Does Bitcoin close above those momentum pivots that we observed earlier? And do we see volatility expansion alongside of that? Targets are going to get expanded significantly to the upside. And I think that we do see a bit of a melting move to the upside if that were to happen. Until then, however, I think it's going to be kind of, a long day as usual. If we go over here, Jesus Christ, what the hell is this? This is all a bunch of garbage right there. Who the fuck was drawing bullshit on my charts? But ultimately, it's going to be a long day to go. Of course, we'll come back tomorrow and reanalyze. I might even do an Instagram story later if necessary, because today might be, an actual, dare I say, big day, or at least some things might be decided today, which would be of importance as well. And then, of course, what else? What else do I want to mention? I think that's it. I think that is it for today. Yeah. I want to be wishing you well. I want to be wishing you the best of the best. Of course, should I give validations for downside? I mean, the validations for the downside are the same as before. It needs to close below the range lows. In this case, we're obviously above them right now. There's a little bit of fake out last week. That one definitely got me, so I was wrong on that one, or seemingly wrong on that one, as Bitcoin does trudge up yet again. So, okay, good place to leave it off. Much love, take care, and see you hopefully soon.